How do you feel about Edelman retiring, by the way? How are you going to feel about him unretiring to win a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers next year?
Oh my God. Remember, I'm the kind of person who thinks that I'm not like a crazy sports fan. I'm like, yeah, it's my job, and I follow sports, and then something like this happens, and the thought of Edelman going to Tampa literally makes me sick to my stomach. It's like when I had to say that the Yankees were the greatest franchise. Like, I feel ill, and then I'm like, oh, okay, you are a normal sports fan. It's going to happen, Mark. I know he said he retired. He was like, the wheels finally came off. I need to retire from my body. But Gronk said that. And then, I don't know how I feel. I feel kind of like all of my friends moved away is how I feel. And I feel like I don't recognize this team, and I'm going to need to reevaluate I'm going to need to reinvest myself in the team, because the team was the people, and now the people are gone, and they were there for 20 years. So I'm like, what?
Yeah. Did you actually like the team, or did you just like that group of players?
That was my existential crisis this fall. I was like, was I just a Tom Brady fan that whole time? And now I'm worried if Edelman goes to Tampa, I'm going to be like, am I just a Bucs fan now? Because that sucks. I don't want to be a Bucs fan. I hate the Bucs.
I think that's how NBA fandom works. I think you get, when you're like a kid growing up, you fall in love with whatever team you live close to. That's not how it worked like when I was growing up, but it seems like that's how it works now. It's like kids are just like, whatever team they latch onto very young, whoever the best player is, they're like, oh, I love this team. And then the player signs with the Lakers. And they're like, well, I guess I'm a Lakers fan now. And then they just follow that player for the rest of his career. That seems to be how it works.
I think you're right. I have an article out today, shameless plug for everybody to go read it so that I get a lot of clicks and I look good to our bosses, but about the Nets and the Knicks and fandom in New York. And the Nets all of a sudden have this year where, these guys with huge followings, for better or for worse, KD, Kyrie, James Harden, they come, and then anybody who is a fan of those guys is sort of like, oh, well, am I a Nets fan now? Like, didn't see that coming. But like, I didn't see Tampa Bay before February of 2020 or before March of 2020. The amount of times I had thought about Tampa Bay was like twice. Once when one of my coworkers got married and she was from there. And then secondly, never. And now I've had to think about Tampa Bay for I can't go on the internet without seeing something about Tampa Bay. And so no offense to Tampa Bay. I think it's a lovely city. I'm sure they're very nice people there.
With all due respect. With all due respect,
I hate Tampa Bay. I just got really worked up. Like, I just got really heated talking about that. I'm sorry.
If it makes you feel better, I legitimately did not realize Julian Edelman was still playing football. So, there's that.
But do you think he's a Hall of Famer, Mark?
I think everybody should be in the Hall of Fame.
Me too.
I think you should just who cares?
I literally wrote in my notes because I knew we were going to mention this. I wrote, hot take, Hall of Fame is stupid in general. Which probably, if you're in it, you want to, wring me by my neck and be like, what did you ever do, little girl? And I'm like, absolutely nothing, but still.
It is the upper echelon of sports punditry loserdom to care about the Hall of Fame. Like, that is the telltale sign that you are the biggest loser in sports. If you're breaking down the Hall of Fame case for this guy or that guy or what, like, if you're arguing that a guy should be in, I support it. Like, if that's your case, like, I don't think you're a loser. Like, for example, as it pertains to college basketball, Bob Huggins is not in the Basketball Hall of Fame. And that's like a big deal to people. And
I did not know he wasn't.
People are like, put Bob Huggins in the Hall of Fame. I support that cause. If you are someone that's like, are we sure Chauncey Billups is a Hall of Famer? Like, are we sure? Look at the numbers. Like, let's break this down. It's like, no, let's not. Actually, let's not. I don't care. And if you care, you suck. You're a loser. You're a loser. You are. Go get a hobby. Go find something else to do.
Pick up embroidery. That's how I felt
Who cares?
about the Edelman discourse, where I saw all of these tweets. It was like as though it were something new and original to be like, Julian Edelman's not a Hall of Famer. And I was like, first of all, he won a bunch of Super Bowls, and sure, like, could I name all of the catches he made that are important? No, but I know there were a bunch of them. And like, what else is the criteria at that point? Like, oh, sorry that his numbers.
No, I mean, Charlotte, to be clear,
it doesn't matter.
He's definitely not a Hall of Famer. I don't know. I can't name like I can't name anything Julian Edelman has done that doesn't involve just like being on the right team at the right time. But I also don't care enough to like to care. I don't care enough to care. So whatever.
I guess that's where I'm like, you know what my criteria is for Hall of Famers? If I like you, you should be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, there you go. I mean, it is the Hall of Fame. Like, that is one of the arguments people throw out is it's like, it's not the Hall of Very Good, it's the Hall of Fame. And I'm like, do you hear yourself? Because because you're saying the Hall of Fame, which means that, like, honestly, David Tyree should be in because he's very famous. You say that name, people are like, I know the name. That's fame. That is fame.
And I'm a
if that's
Pats
not
fan
fame,
saying that.
Yeah.
Yes, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Like, you should, if you're famous for literally anything, you should be in the Hall of Fame at that point. So, like, who cares? It's all.
We
it's all
deserve
very
a
dumb,
star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame or whatever the heck they call whatever the heck. I'm really worked up about this. My God.
Hey pals, thanks for watching the People's Sports Podcast YouTube channel. For more of mine and Mark's very weird rabbit holes, stick around, watch more. You can subscribe, smash that subscribe button. You know you want to. We're going to give you all the weird stuff we possibly can.